Hello Flosstube, my name's Amy. This is Mimi Stitchery here on YouTube and on Instagram. I am formerly a Little Farm Quilts, so if you were following me under that name changed recently, I think in the last year or so. Anyway, today is Wednesday. Had to think about that for a minute because I've been off of work. It is Wednesday, July 19th, and I am 30 days out from my daughter's wedding. So this is Flosstube number 92. This is my Flosstube mainly about cross stitch. I have some new crafting today to show, and I'm going to show a little bit of knitting. Because if you've been here for a while, you know that I've had a knitting project ongoing to hopefully get done this year. So I have weekly goals on that, so I show that. And I was packing everything up this morning. So my husband and I are big campers, and we are getting ready to go away tomorrow morning. We will be leaving again for another week at a campground about 2.5 hours from here. It's a fun campground. We've been there before. So even if we get the rain, on and off rain that they're forecasting, should not be a problem because there's plenty to do there and lots of people that we like there. So it'll be fun. But in preparation to go camping, because I'm off the month of July, I'm in charge of getting everything into the camper that needs to go into the camper, and the hubby's in charge of getting the camper to be ready to go. So I'm still on coffee this morning. So part of that process for me is taking all my stitching that I'm working on out of the frames, off the scroll rods, and transitioning it back to either stitching in hand, or I take a couple of these small hoops. Because then if I don't take my lap stand and I don't take Q-snaps and things, I can take more projects. And since I'm going to be gone for a week and I don't really know where my stitchy bug's going to take me, as you'll find out in this video, it's taking me in a lot of different directions lately. I've just been really enjoying my time of just going along with my stitchy bug and seeing how it goes. That being said, I'm going to apologize right up front. I'm noticing in the video how puffy my eyes are. I have not been sleeping well for, I want to say like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm not sure what that's all about. I'm working on some things to hopefully make that better, but yeah, so you're going to see what looks like tired. I really don't feel tired. And I wonder how much of the puffiness is from the smoke that we have in the air, because that's why we're in the kitchen again today. We are getting, the last 2 days have been worse, but we still have a haze here that makes the lighting kind of funky. So yeah, in here's the best lighting anyway. I'm so sorry. Kitchen. But welcome if you're new here. Welcome back if you've been following along on my crazy. I felt like I had not been getting much done because I have been doing some secret crafting. I have some stitchy friends that have birthdays coming. So I'm not showing that crafting. And yeah, we're going to just go along with it, what I have. But I have a lot. It's a lot of sitting here. We're going to start with whips. I'm going to move into plans, a little bit of stitchy kindness, a little bit of haul, some cool stories. I've even packed my water. I'm going to talk a little bit about how I prep for camping and crafting, because I get questions on that. But yeah. So shall we get started? It's already 4 minutes in and all I've been doing is gabbing. So you might hear the dogs. Yeah, it just is what it is, right? The first thing that I'm going to show you is Token of Love. This is by Brenda Gervais of With Thy Needle and Thread. I had put this in timeout for the longest time because I had stashed IVE for this and I liked the fabric, but I didn't like the threads I had pulled and didn't remember that I had ordered the threads, called for threads. So when I looked at it again, it had the called for threads in here. I am stitching this on 32 count French Roast by R&R. I absolutely love this linen, and I should have brought one of my quilt boards up. I thought about it again and still didn't grab one. But here we are. I'm loving the colors in this, and I'm going to take that with me. So that has come off of the Q-snap that it was on. It's going to go in the bag to go with me. And I'm going to try to put some of this stuff away as I'm talking. I won't do the zippers, but I would like to get the bags put together because I am going to start loading. I need to decide what I'm going to stitch on today and then load the rest into the camper. The next thing, these are in no particular order, by the way. The next thing I'm going to show you is I did a little more work on couple of my full coverage pieces. Let me pull them up here. This one is a stitching shelf. This is artwork by Amy Stewart. It is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is a regular size max color version. I'm stitching it on 28 count 2/110. And no editing this time either, no before and afters. And this is where I've gotten to. Kind of exciting because you see the gate coming into play. There's another book coming in here and another one that's the book label right there. So I'm just picking threads, colors, and working them as far as they'll work. I've worked in almost all of the park threads here. I've got one on the needle here. But I have them almost all parked or worked in. The next full coverage I have for you is one I started with Tiffany from Black Cat X Stitchery. And I'm going to segue right here because she was up. It wasn't this last weekend. It was the weekend before. And we worked on it together. She came up with her guild, her needlework guild, and they visited my LNS, which is Hobby House Needleworks, and we visited the wool store and the quilt fabric. So I'll talk more about that later, but she and I were able to stitch on it one evening together. So this is Blu-ray. Mine is a mini, and this is artwork by Leah Roche, I believe is how you pronounce it. This is charted by Heaven and Earth Design. I'm sorry about the glare. Let's see if we can, there. That's probably the best it's going to get. I am stitching it on 25 count. I started at 1/1 full cross. I have transitioned it to 2/110. That's just my preferred now, and it goes much quicker, and I just like it better. And this is where I am. So I started upper right corner. I'm working in these park threads now because I was starting to do Royal Rose again. Not sure why I continue to try doing Royal Rose. I think it's great. I watch other people do it, but it's just not how my brain works. So there we are. And just so you guys know, I actually keep all my full coverage in one big project bag that was made for me by Gail from Gail's Golden Needle. And they go with me wherever I go. The next one I want to show you is my Long Dog Pandemic. This was free during the pandemic. It's now for purchase on their website. I am stitching this on 40 count Heritage by Picture This Plus with a charcoal colored silk from Silks for You. 1/2. And this is where I've gotten to. So I had this page just about completed. So I finished that page and then went over and finished this page. And I'm doing the back stitch as I go. This is a big one. This is in a project bag that I got from Lindy Stitches when she was doing the blue-footed booby. Sorry, I promised not to do zips. Sorry. The next one, gosh, I have a lot to show you. This could be a long video, although I'm going kind of fast. This is Flosstube Friends. This was a round robin, not so round robin, organized by Hannah from Hannah Dowling with some of us Flosstubers. Let's see. I am woefully behind in this stitch. I am stitching this on 40 count Beach Brew by R&R. This is where I am. I'm just going to keep plugging away, but I'm woefully behind. That has not been calling me. And I did stitch on it for a couple of days and did not really enjoy it. So I'm waiting for that to call on me again. I'm not really good at keeping up with stitch alongs. I think Modern Folk Embroidery Fruits of Plenty was the best I've ever done. And I still finished that a month late. Next one I'm going to show you is Halloween Quaker by Leela Studio. This is being stitched on 20 count Anubis by Under the Sea Fabrics with the called for threads. And this is where I am. I kind of want to finish this year because I have a couple starts that I'd like to start. I may not wait for this to be finished before I start those starts, but you know, it's one of those things. That I still keep plugging away at a little bit. It keeps calling to me a little bit, so I keep pulling it out. The other one I've worked on is my oldest whips. If you've been around for a while, you know you love it. It is a Dimensions Gold collection called Lost No More. If you are new here, I started this way back in the 90s and had kids, put it aside, and didn't pick it up for a long time. And now I've been earnestly working on it for the last couple years anyway. I really wanted to get this done last year, had a daily target on it last year. I can only do that for so long. I never pull out my daily targets for the whole year. The only one I've been successful on with that, more than so than not, is the Afghan that I'm going to show at the end of this video. So again, I've just been picking it up when it calls to me, when I enjoy stitching it. Some of these things got one day, some of these things got a whole week. It really depended on how I was feeling and how the day was going. I've been trying, I'm just going to interject this here. This is my first summer in the last 2.5 years when I have not been in school for my master's. So I've been trying, because I'm off the whole month of July, I've been trying to honor just doing what I do and being me. And I think that it's renewing my stitching. I'm very much a process stitcher, as if you can't tell that from my videos, and I'm trying to honor that. As a matter of fact, I am not spending a ton of time FFOing cross stitches right now, and I have finished cross stitches building down in my sewing room, and instead of FFOing them, I've just hung them up in my sewing room, similar to what Brenda the Handwork Maniac has done, because that too is not where I find my joy. So I'm picking this up when it calls to me, just like everything else. It did come off. I had it on a frame. It came off of that this morning so I could take it with me. This is how it looks now. You see I have my Iron Man needle minder that I made. What I worked on mainly was this sheep down here. So I was working in the robe and this sheep that's laying here. You can see it starting to come together, and once it's back stitched, it will look even better. I am kind of trying to back stitch as I go, And every time I hold this up in a floss tube, I think how good that looks. I think I'm close to 90% done, maybe 80% done. I think maybe 80 looking at it. The pattern's so old that it fell apart. So I contacted simplicity.com, who sent me a PDF of the pattern once I verified that I had the kit. And that is in Pattern Keeper, enough for me to check off progress, which has made this kind of fly a little faster. But yeah, I'm really happy with how that looks. They always look, I say this all the time, they always look so much better when I'm showing them to you and I'm looking at them in the camera. Because, and I caution everybody all the time, and I have to remind myself of this, when we're stitching on it, we have it like right here. So we see everything, errors, X's that don't look perfect, whatever. I can tell you there is a 10,001 errors in this. Lost no more. Can you tell? Because really, nobody can tell. And that looks awesome. That looks awesome. If I do say so myself. So that's going with me as well. That always goes with me. If you've been around here long enough, that project goes with me. It doesn't matter where I go. If I'm camping, if I'm flying, if it's just a driving overnight, it goes. All right. This one I can't really show you a picture of. It is my chatelaine. I forgot to grab the picture, to be quite honest. It's my chatelaine, one of my chatelaines. I have two in progress. I have Mushroom and Fern Mandala and Evening in the Park. Mushroom and Fern, I said was going to come out in July. It always comes out in July so that I can get some good work in it, and this was no different. It is out. And I'm going to show you the whole thing first. This is a little big. And then I'm going to tell you where I worked. So can you see that? This is where we are. And where I worked, let me try to get this down a little bit. This got several days. I don't remember how many. I'm not tracking any of that stuff. So I worked in the center part here. I was able to get all of these purple squares in, along with some of the stitches inside them. I finished the border all the way around, and I started on this piece right here, which is just a replication. Let me see if I can show it to you. It's just a replication of this one here. Can you see that? This is really big to show. So that's being replicated up on the top. I was able to get this part on a Q-snap. I have some of the beads in this, so that's the thing. And Amanda from Lucky Chance Stitcher, I had mentioned about I was going to take the beads out so I could get it all on a Q-snap. But she challenged me to leave the beads in because I had a lot of beading done, and I'm glad she did because I've left the beading in, and I'm kind of working around it, and I'm enjoying it. And this will go with me. My whole DMC is going with me. Yeah, a bunch of things are going with me. I have a cabinet that's totally dedicated in the camper to my crafts. It's not a huge cabinet, but it definitely is. Sorry, let me shut off the phone. It definitely is. If I don't take the lap stand or any Q snaps and I just take my two small hoops, I can fit quite a few projects in there, and it makes me happy because I don't know where my stitching is going to lead. I may not stitch on them all. And I get comments all the time about how if I'd focus, I'd get something done. True. Very true. Do not disagree with you. However, I am a process stitcher, and so I'm going to enjoy my craft. And eventually they'll get done. Lindy Stitches completed Mushroom. Stephanie from Lindy Stitches completed Mushroom Fern Mandala, and during one mania, she split it up and got the beading done during May, and it is still hanging in her closet and unframed. She, too, is a process stitcher, and she actually made a video all about her journey with the chatelaine, because that is truly a stitching journey, and I'm truly enjoying the process. So that's that. I have one more small whip to show you, and I think I only have a black and white copy. This was something that I got at the Jingle Ball. I'm doing the Jingle Ball again this year, so if you're waiting impatiently to buy your ticket to that, so am I. I bought Hands On Design on Christmas 3. This is just the black and white version. And during this Jingle Ball, I had stitched Noel, this one right here. I stashed dough for the fabric and the threads. This is on 32 count charcoal linen. I believe it's R&R. Do I have the tag in here? And I stashed dough for threads. I think it's 32 count. Anyway, I stitched the Noel during the Jingle Ball, and I got antsy about what to stitch one night, so I started the piece. And also on this, I had bought the other Hands-On Design pattern for the trees, so I plan to stitch all 3 trees on here. So that's just going to go with too. And those are my whips, my cross stitch whips. Now, I do have cross stitch plans. So this is going to be a combination of plans and talking about some stuff. So, and I'll leave the knitting and the other additional craft I picked up till the end. So, Gail from Gail's Gold Needle and I have been doing the Year in the Woods sale, and we took a break for the month of July. We do plan to start back up in August, so we have planned to start the owl. I believe we have 4 animals left. The plan is to hunker down and get them done before the end of the year, because she and I have a plan to chunk up And a Forest Grew into 12 sections for next year. And stitch that together. We both started it together on my birthday. Yeah, so we're going to start this. I have this. I'm going to stitch it on the called for fabric with the called for threads, and I have this in a little, well, Tiffany, when she came to stay with me, she had gifts, and one of the gifts, I'm going to take my floss out of here, is this little project keeper. And it's made out of the same fabric that I had ordered a bag from her in. And you open it up, and you can see I have the owl in there. I have the fabric in there, and then I had laid the threads in here. But there's pockets over here, and then a thread bed and a place to put your needle. It's perfect for these size projects. So I have the owl in there all ready to start. We're planning to start that. It's got a couple snaps in August. I have other things that I'd like to start, and I don't know. I posted on Instagram this morning. This is one I'd like to start soon. This is Electra by Nora Corbett. It's relatively small, 168 by 138. And I have a piece of murky that I'm going to try to stitch her on. So this is Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. This is in a bag that I just made for myself because I needed a bag for it. I've got the pattern. I showed you guys this. I'm going to stitch it. I don't know how to say this fabric name from Grace Notes. It's a very purpley gray kind of fabric. And this is the bag that I made for myself. So amongst my crafting for friends, my secret crafting, I also made some things for myself. So that's on the docket to be started, which I think I told you this. This is one that I hadn't told you about. This is the Prairie Schooler. This is the night before Christmas, and I was slated to start this last year. Sorry for the glare. I'm going to start it soon. I have Peacock Unicorn and a Badger, which I told you guys about. This is in a bag from Tiffany from Black Cat X Stitchery. I won this bag at the Steel City Stitchers. And this, no judgment on my sewing, I was trying to work out a project keeper. And so I made this for myself. It has one snap. I made this out of some Coriander fabrics. And I have 3 projects in here. I have Bobbing for Pumpkins by Brenda Gervais. I have a gift from Gail, from Gail's Gold Needle, Very Merry Christmas by the Scarlet House. And I have a gift from Tiffany, With a Grateful Heart by Artful Offerings. Those 3 projects are all in here, and they're smaller projects. I also have, as you all know, a whole bin of things to start. So, I don't know. I'm feeling like starting some of the things. I may start some of the things. Tiffany asked me to join a thing that her guild's doing called Awesome August, where they stitch on a different project every day, submit before and after pictures of the project. I said, sure, I'll be part of that. That sounds like fun. Maybe there'll be some new starts in there. I'm just feeling like starting the things. So I'm gonna get them into my rotation and start some things. I'm feeling it. I'm starting something tonight during my Wednesday night Zoom. It will either be Halloween on Hawk Run Hollow or the Peacock, a Unicorn, and a Badger. It will be one of those 2. I'm leaning towards one. If you have any guesses, put them below. But yeah, I'm definitely going to start some things and celebrate this month, the last couple weeks I have off, and my daughter's wedding coming, and just all the things. Along with the Stitchy Kindness I got from Tiffany when she came here, she also gave me 2 skeins of sugar and cream yarn for my dishcloth making. I've not been really good at making the dishcloths, but I'm trying to get better at structuring some time in for those. So I have that. I'm getting ready for camping. I'm super excited. And this isn't as long as I thought it was going to be. I'm going to have some stitching time today and some grocery shopping. My dog's having a problem. Hey, Mama. Molly, you all right? All right. So sorry, this has been kind of scattered, but I'm going to go on to knitting and a new craft. As if I needed some. I don't think this is going to take over my stitching, but so my Hue Shift Afghan, you've seen it before. It is on Knit Picks. I am doing it in the jeweled colorway, Brava Sport jeweled colorway. This is knitted in 4 sections and then put together, and then a border is knitted around it. I am on section number 3. My goal for this Afghan was to knit 2 squares every week. I actually do that and then some. I am already on Wednesday, it's Wednesday, right? And I'm already on the 2nd square for this week. This is the 3rd of 4 sections. So you can see here, I've got the 2nd square already halfway done for this week. This will be stitched on every morning going forward. Maybe I can get it done sooner versus later, maybe not. We'll see. The 2 squares a month will get the 4 sections done by October. And my thought is that gives me plenty of time to knit the border, get it put together and the border around by the end of the year. We'll see how that goes. But I've already bought a new crocheted Afghan pattern that I want to start that I forgot to bring to show you. And that will get started as soon as this one's done. I like working on Afghans. There's something about them. Yeah, and it's not, the next one I've shown is more like I think it's a hexagon type Afghan, crocheted Afghan, so it's not like having the whole Afghan on your lap either, which sometimes can be a problem. But yeah, I'm excited about that. I like having an Afghan on the go. I like having socks on the go, although I ebb and flow in and out of knitting socks. And I like having the dishcloths on the go. So there's that. New craft I picked up while I was at Hobby House Needleworks with my friends, my new friends from Angie and Tiffany. I picked up a wool kit that's called Primitive Gatherings. It's from Primitive Gatherings. It's called We Are Family. It is snowmen. And I picked up all of some Valdani. Some of this is pearl cotton, some of this is silk, I think. I really don't know much about them, but anyway, I picked up some Valdanis. I picked up needles. I texted Gail from Gail's Cold Needle because she does this wool work, and I wanted to know what I should pick up, and she gave me all the advice. Sorry, there's dog fur all over this because it's wool and it collects the dog fur. And here we are. Everything's pasted on here, so to speak, and I've started the stitching around. And this hasn't jumped to the point where it has its own project bag yet. It's in a Ziploc bag. I don't know that I will do another wool project. That being said, I do have a quilt downstairs that is applique, and I've always kind of steered away from it. And I think this will spur me to work on that quilt. Yeah, so I am going to take it with me camping just because I think it's a little more mindless. Well, it's a lot more mindless than cross-stitching. And so if I have an evening where I just need something mindless, I think this will definitely fit the bill for that. So that is going to go with me. And I think that's all I have. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. I love all the comments. You see my cat Lillian. I just wanted to get a video up before I went camping because honestly, I know after today we leave for camping for a week and we come back and we're less than 3 weeks from my daughter's wedding and things will be crazy. So I wanted to get this up. It's a nice quick video. Sorry if I was talking fast. You can slow me down if you want. But thanks for being here. There are a ton of new Flosstubers out there. There are, let's see, who are the new ones that I've subscribed to? I think so. What's her name? Hold on. Hold on. Needleberry Stitcher is not a new one to me, but I love watching her. She just put a new one up. I knew about them, but had not watched much of them. Two Needles Pulling Thread, which I'm sure you've all heard about. What is her name? Katie Strachan Embroidery. I've watched Janet Jabber. Lost in Stitches, I actually met her at Stitch North. Tina Stitches put up a whip parade. Where is she? She's in here somewhere, and I want to say her. She must be. There's so many floss tubes out there now that it's almost ridiculous. Saltbox Stitcher just did a whip parade, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I'm just going to go here and search for her. So tattered. So tattered. Absolutely loved watching her. She's a ball. The 20-minute Stitcher. All of them. Go check them out. Make a list. If you're not watching them already, you should be. I've been watching a ton of Flosstube while I'm off on vacation, and because I can have them running while I do other things. So go enjoy them and give them a thumbs up and a like and a subscribe and be a doer of all things, as they say. And I will see everybody soon. It will most likely be a month before my next video. So enjoy the rest of your summer. Take care. Enjoy your craft, and I look forward to watching all of your stitching. Bye.